What's up? What's up? What's up? And welcome back to another episode of the House of Jazz. Now, listen, if you've been following along, you know your girl got three boys. I am a full off boy mom, but listen, I need some help over here because these three boys, not only are they three like gaps in between. So I have a 13-year-old, right? Teenager. And I have a 5-year-old. And then I have this little feisty 2-year-old who's so cute and sweet, right? But they have these very, very different personalities, very different ways of thinking and acting. And baby, when I tell you it keeps me on my toes, it keeps me on my toes. Like, for instance, let me tell you about my oldest. My oldest is very calm, cool, collected. He's like your normal teenager. He's into like gaming and he's really getting into like, shoes and sneakers and things like that. And so I can really relate because your girl is a sneakerhead. Love, love, love me some sneakers. Love me some heels, but absolutely love me some sneakers. So shout out to all of my females out there that absolutely love sneakers. So Christian is big and he's getting into his, adolescence and he's kind of quiet and meek, but he really likes sports and stuff. So that's his kind of personality. Caleb, which is my middle boy, he's 5. Caleb is more of my affectionate baby. He's more of the one that wants to sit up under mommy. He's more of the one that wants to, or that will compliment, mommy, you got your nails done. How cute. Mommy, I love your hair. Except for when I got my hair cut like this. Because when I got my hair cut like this and I showed up at his school, Caleb actually was like, mommy, why you got your hair cut like a boy? And I thought it was super, super hilarious. And then when I turned around, I told him, I said, well, Caleb, I got my hair cut like this because I want to be cute like a girl, but I wanted to look like you because you're so handsome. He was like, girl, that ain't it. Like, literally, that ain't it. Now, is it me or is it y'all kids too that they're just so honest? They're so honest. And I'm like, I couldn't even be offended because the boy told me, I don't like it. But now, he'll tell me all the time, Mommy, you're pretty. Thank you. Thank you, boo. But he's not more affectionate, baby. And I love that about him. But he is what most people would call very emotional too. Which leads me to baby number 3, because y'all heard me call King King. His name is Kingston, but we call him King King. Everybody knows him as King King. So if you don't, if you don't know him, go follow your girl on IG, and you'll kind of get a little glimpse of them. And I'll tag that in the links below. Anyways, King King, he is my little feisty one. He's my little feisty one. He's the one that you're not gonna get anything over on King. He doesn't care how big you are. He really doesn't care how small you are. King knows what he wants and he's gonna do what he wants, and that's just gonna be that. But with these very broad personality types, sometimes it's hard to keep up. Sometimes it's hard to keep up of in like, what am I supposed to do? Like, you start to get stretched thin as a mom trying to make sure that you're serving and nurturing these three personalities in the best way you know how. Because when you think back to your childhood and you're honest about what happened and how you were brought up, you notice that there were some gaps or there were some things that were missing in nurturing you, nurturing who you were. And so a lot of us are out here trying to heal that inner child, me being one. And we're going to get into that in other episodes. But my struggle, I have been struggling as a mom trying to figure out why I can't get my 13-year-old to just follow directions and do what I ask him to do, right? Now, I know there are perfect mommies out there. So if y'all got any ideas about how I can get this to kick off and start, or if this is just something he has to go through, leave those comments in the comment section. But I'm just trying to figure out, what can I do to get him to just follow simple directions. He's very intelligent. He's not a bad kid at all. I've been in atmospheres where I have been around some more challenging adolescents than my son, and he doesn't exhibit any of that. My fear about this is that if I don't address very small things, or what some people may see as very small things right now, that they can grow into very large, irresponsible things that can then hinder him in some sort of way. So I'm just trying to figure out, how can I get this boy to do what I asked him to do without me having to, you know what I'm saying, get a little aggressive, because, you know, even though I'm a female, I'm raising men. So, you know. Anyway, Caleb. Caleb, on the other hand, baby number two, even though he's very affectionate, a lot of things that I've exhibited or that I've seen or that I've heard from his teachers, and he just started kindergarten, is that yes, he wants to be affectionate with them. He wants a lot of attention. But of course, in our teaching space today, when teachers have 26 and 30 students, it's very hard to get that type of nurturing and care and one-on-one with the child in the classroom. And I understand that because I've been in education. But the challenges that I'm having with Caleb is that he doesn't act with me the way he acts with everybody else. And I don't understand either dynamic with Christian or Caleb, because some of the things that they exhibit, I dare not have done in my mother's home. I dare not have done. I dare not have done at school while I was staying in my mother's home, you know, because my mama, she meant business. Let's just say that. So I can't relate. I can say that I was a fairly good student, a fairly good child. I'm not saying I was without flaw, but it was really, really good. But being that I lived the lifestyle that I lived, it's been hard for me as a parent to kind of relate to my children and figure out how to fix things that I didn't know or that I didn't exhibit as a child. And so I know in the most recent conference that I had with Caleb's teacher, and which I'm happy about all of my children being, you know, intellectually sound, is that he's very intelligent, is that he does his work. That's what he does. But he struggles with when he gets upset or when he can't have his way. And I'm like, well, he don't really, there's really no way to have at my house. And then when I say no to something, that's what it is. I don't have to beg, I don't have to plead, I don't have to bargain or anything. Like, I just don't have to do that. So that's not my experience. So when I hear that from his teachers, I'm like, ooh, how do I handle this? What do I do? And I'm like, am I gonna go up to the school and sit in the school and just sit in his classroom? Like, what are the things, and what are some things that I can do to kind of help the teachers out, because I need them to be able to teach. I need them to be able to do their job, and I need for them to do it with a clear mind. I need that for them. I want that for them. I still feel like I am them, but I'm having a hard time trying to figure out how to maneuver that with Caleb. Now, this King on the other hand, baby, that little one there, I used to get in his first daycare, which was a home daycare. King actually got kicked out, but that wasn't my baby's fault. That was not my baby's fault. And yes, if you say, "Oh, you just one of them parents that want to overlook," in this case, that wasn't my baby's fault. I just think it was the wrong environment for him. I started all of my children out at either home daycares or with nannies, and that's the same thing that I wanted to do for Kingston. And he was actually removed. He was actually removed from the daycare. But the daycare that I'm in right now is phenomenal. I absolutely love it. I don't get any complaints or anything. And sometimes I be wondering, do I not get any complaints because they just don't say nothing? Or is King really doing better? But nevertheless, I was talking to my therapist about King, and I was saying how he's mean. And I was saying how I can recognize that he exhibits a lot of the emotions that I was feeling when I was pregnant with him. And I don't know if that's just a way of me just blaming it on myself or whatever. But these are the types of things that I think that are taking place. He's very sweet. He's very, very caring to people that he's already felt out and deemed as safe. That's another thing that I know about King. And so as I'm expressing this to my therapist, she was like, I want you to look at this a different way. I want you to look at it at a different lens, in a different lens. And I'm like, well, what lens is that? And she said, I don't want you to think about King as being mean. Let me ask you this. Does King have boundaries? And I said, he definitely does. And she said, well, good. Does King, does he protect his boundaries? Like, are you going to do something that King doesn't want you to do? He's not going to allow you to. Like, he's going to let you know. And that was her other thing. Is he going to be expressive of that? And so she was like, and I said, yes. And she was like, he's not mean. He's just very self aware at a very young age. And I was like, wow, what would it be like if all of us were like that? What would it be like if we were not conditioned to be nice when we didn't feel that it was appropriate? Like, what if we weren't? Because I know for me, we could walk in a room and my mom was telling me, hey, make sure you speak, make sure you smile, make sure you're nice. I grew up the good girl. So I wanted all the friends. And then when you didn't want to be friends with me, I didn't understand. There were things that made me uncomfortable that I didn't automatically say, no, that's a boundary. We're not going to do that. I'm not going to take that. I'm not going to have that. And then remove myself from the situation. But when she gave me that perspective, I was like, dang, that's king at 2. That's king at 2 years old. But she was like, what I would say is as he grows older, that what you should do is say, yes, like I understand that you're protecting your boundaries. I understand that you set your boundaries. I love that you advocate for yourself. And also, here's another way for you expressing what that is. And I thought that was really, really good. And a good perspective for her to give me on Kingston. But then that leads me back to Caleb. Like, how do my question has always been, I love the fact that Caleb is not emotional, but I love the fact that he's very in tune with his emotions. I love that he's very affectionate. And I love the fact that he is very open with expressing his emotions and what he's feeling at the time. But how do I keep that contained, but also teach him in a way to be how he should or how he may express those feelings or those big emotions that he has. And so I've just really been struggling about, like, how do I balance these three large personalities or these three different personalities of all of my children. Um and so, yeah, I want to kind of put that out there and see what you guys thought. We can talk in the comments. Like anything else, we will be sharing more. I'll be sharing more about what's actually going on with me. You will see other people come on. I'm super excited that you're here. Make sure that you keep these house rules in order. Rule number 1 is that you choose you 365. That's 365 days a year. Rule number 2 is that you refer back to rule number 1. And until next episode, we'll chat soon.